Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about the best kept secret for weight loss. And I happened to learn this on accident and by chance by finding somebody's YouTube channel, and I will be talking about it in a minute. But I have spent a lot of my life counting calories and trying to lose weight and figuring out how to stay in a deficit for the rest of my life and struggling and not knowing what the heck I'm doing, how to do it, or how to mentally stick to it. So what I've learned is a thing called calorie cycling, as you may already know by the title. But calorie cycling is essentially where you spend 2 to 3 weeks in a deficit and 1 to 2 weeks at maintenance every single month. So this way you're kind of getting a diet break once a month. And then also by the time you're done with your fat loss, with your weight loss, you no longer have to stay in a deficit. Ideally, you will be at maintenance calories for the rest of forever. So let's go into the details. So I first want to give credit where credit is due, and I learned about calorie cycling from Miss Fit and Nerdy, and I will link her channel below. Please go check it out. She is one of my favorite YouTubers. I've watched most of her videos, but I can't catch up on all the past 2 or 3 years of videos she has, but go check out her channel. And let's get into the depths of calorie cycling. So there is some research to back up this method of fat loss and calories. And that research study is the Matador study. Now, there have been other studies, and it's a lot of mixed results when it comes to whether or not this will actually work in increasing or maintaining your resting energy expenditure as you lose weight. Normally what happens when you go into a calorie deficit is your resting energy expenditure, which is the amount of calories that you need to sustain living, so your heart beating, breathing, etc. Normally when you go into a calorie deficit, eventually that REE will drop. So essentially your maintenance calories, your deficit calories become your maintenance calories. So you're on a deficit, your metabolism slows down, you hit a plateau because now your deficit calories are your maintenance calories and you have to drop further. And within this study, there is a graph that I'm going to put up on the screen that shows that the people who are in continuous energy restriction, so a continuous calorie deficit, that is in the dotted line. The people who were an intermittent calorie deficit, so the calorie cycling, are in the black line, and you will see that the change in resting energy expenditure will drop for both groups, but towards the end of week 12 up to week 16, the resting energy expenditure starts to increase. And that dotted line, that extreme drop, is what happens when you stay in a continuous calorie deficit forever. So your metabolism actually slows down as you lose weight. And then the second graph I'm going to show is similar. The black line is the intermittent calorie deficit group, and their resting energy expenditure, so their metabolism drops towards the beginning and then climbs back up, so that by the time you're done losing fat, done doing the calorie cycling, your metabolism is roughly going to be the same as to where it was before you lost fat, so that you can maintain a lower body fat and also be able to eat the same amount of calories you were eating before. So the way that this works is, first, you need to determine your maintenance calories. Now, I have a guide for how to implement calorie cycling and also a calorie cycling tracker on my website, and I will link those down below in the description. They are free, completely free. You don't even need an email to sign up, nothing. I just give you the PDFs right on my website. So the first thing you need to do is determine your maintenance calories. The 100% best way to do this is to track your maintenance calories for a week or two and check to make sure that you've maintained your weight. And if you take those 14 days of calories, add them all up, divide them by 14, you get your daily average. If you've maintained your weight over those 2 weeks, that is your maintenance calories. If you gained weight, then you're gonna need to drop them a little bit and trial and error it until you find what your maintenance calories are. And the same goes if you lost weight, you're gonna need to up your calories and see if you've maintained. Now, what I'm doing is I didn't wanna take the time to do all that. So I did a week of maintenance based on a calorie calculator, which I will link a calorie calculator below that I think is appropriate as a dietitian. We use the Mifflin St. George calculation to get the basal metabolic rate and then add an activity factor. So depending on your activity level, the standard one's 1.2 to 1.4 on average for whether you're like moderate, like lightly active, sedentary, lightly active, or extremely active. And extremely active, I would consider as working out like 6 days a week, an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, or really, really, really heavy weightlifting. My maintenance week, I did feel like I was gaining weight. Like I could actually feel it in my body. It wasn't like when you're in your maintenance weeks, you're gonna have extra food in your system. You are gonna have a little bit more bloating because you're probably eating a little more sugar and salt and fat. So you are going to feel a little bit bigger. Your scale is actually gonna go up a little bit because there's more food in your system versus when you're on a deficit. But I felt like I was putting on fat, if that makes any sense. Like I can physically feel myself gaining weight. So what I'm doing is I started at 2140 as my maintenance calories based on a calculator, based on my activity level, my age, my current weight, and I am going to have to drop that down. So next time I go into a maintenance week, I'm going to drop it to 2,000 calories a day and see what happens. But I'm doing that also intermittently putting in the calorie deficit weeks. Once you've determined your maintenance calories, next is to determine your deficit calories. You do not want to do your deficit calories any less than 250 calories a day because this can mess with your metabolism and you probably won't see any significant weight loss or progress. So I recommend a deficit anywhere from 250 to 500 calories a day of your maintenance calories. Another note I want to make on maintenance calories, if you find your maintenance calories, if you've been in a calorie deficit for a while, your maintenance calories might be somewhere between 12 to 1,500 calories. And if that's the case for you, I do recommend doing a reverse diet, and Misfit and Nerdy has some fantastic videos on how to do a reverse diet. So I would definitely check out her on the reverse dieting. I think that process takes about a month, maybe a little bit more. I haven't done it myself, but she has, and she has seen great results with it. So I recommend reverse dieting to increase your resting metabolic needs, so that would increase your maintenance calories so that when you're in a deficit, it won't be so great, because you don't want your deficit any less than 1,200, because once you hit less than 1,200, then your body really won't have the energy it needs to sustain life, and you will see some adverse effects of that. Okay, so then you determine your deficit calories anywhere from 250 to 500 calories less. So if I'm at a maintenance of 2,000 calories, then my deficit is going to be anywhere from 1,500 to 1,750. And obviously, the steeper the deficit, the greater weight loss you're going to see. So some people, like if your maintenance calories are 2,500, some people can deficit 1,000 calories a day and eat 1,500 calories a day in their deficit. That would be, you pick out how fast you want to lose weight, what you feel like also is realistic for you. You don't want to drop your calories so low that you're going to feel extremely restricted in your deficit weeks. Then after you determine that, you're going to go to step 3. Step 3 is to determine a schedule that you think is going to work best for you to get the fat loss at the rate that you want it, but also is sustainable. So there you can do a deficit anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks a month, and you can do maintenance from 1 to 2 weeks. So like if you're doing 3 weeks of a deficit, you do 1 week of maintenance. If you're doing 2 weeks of deficit, you can do 2 weeks at maintenance, right? So pick your schedule. You have your maintenance calories, your deficit calories, and your schedule. Step 4 is to use a tracker. There are a couple reasons why I recommend doing this. One is when you use a tracker, you have it on paper or you have it on your phone, you can see it, you know exactly when you're in a deficit and when you are in a maintenance. So after you know, because then when you're going on your day-to-day, you know exactly what your goals are for that day or that week. Or you know, like when you're in a deficit and you start struggling and you wish you could eat more calories, you can look at your calendar and be like, okay, I'm only 3 days from my maintenance. I just need to get through these next 3 days, right? The other reason why I think a tracker is helpful is it helps to reinforce what you're doing psychologically. You can tick off the days that you've completed your deficit calories and you get a sense of completion, a sense of progress, and it helps you stick to it. So those are the 2 reasons why I recommend implementing a tracker. Step 5 is how long you're going to do the calorie cycling cycle for. I recommend, in addition to Misfit Nerdy recommends this, only doing this for 3 months. You only do this for 3 months because at some point your body is going to catch up to the fact that you're doing calorie cycling, and it's going to realize that it's going to decide that it needs to start dropping your maintenance calorie level, your metabolic rate, because your body doesn't want to lose weight. Your body loves homeostasis. Even if you're overweight or obese at an unhealthy level, your body wants to maintain that, because the fear, if you start losing weight, is you are at an increased risk of immediate danger or death. So your body wants to maintain the weight that you're at because it knows that it has the energy that it needs to sustain its life. However, we know that it is healthier to be at a healthy weight, and so getting there, you kind of have to trick your body. So after you've done this for 3 months, if you still have fat to lose, you can redo the cycle after you spent 1 month at maintenance calories. You have to spend an entire month at maintenance calories. This tricks your body into realizing you still have food available, you aren't doing anything crazy, you spend 1 month at maintenance, and then you jump back into the calorie cycling cycle all over again for another 3 months. And you do this until you've lost all the fat. Once you've lost all the fat you want to lose, you're at the weight that you want to be, you're happy, theoretically, you should be able to go right back into the maintenance calories that you've been doing this whole time. The only time your maintenance calories really change is after you've lost a significant amount of weight. So we're talking 60 to 100 pounds. If you've lost that much weight, then you probably want to readjust your maintenance calories. And then the next thing I recommend on top of doing a calorie cycling program is to implement strength training. Strength training increases your basic metabolic rate. It maintains your muscle mass so that your body focuses on losing fat mass. Building muscle basically will increase your metabolic rate, and this will help you be able to stick to your higher body weight calories when you're at a lower fat body weight. Lastly, the last point I want to make is weekly averages. Your body goes off of averages. It does not go off of the day-to-day, because if you cut 1,000 calories one day, you don't automatically drop like 3 pounds of body fat that day. It takes an average, and the best way to look at it is weekly. So if you're eating 2,000 calories a day and you want to average that out to your weekly calories, you would take 2,000, multiply it by 7, and you would get 14,000 calories as your weekly calories. And you can break that up however you want. A couple of disclaimers here. The reason why this is helpful is because if you have a day where you're not so hungry, you don't have to hit that 2,000 calories. You eat the amount of calories that make you feel full and satisfied. And then the next day, if you're feeling more hungry, you have some leeway to eat more and you don't have to worry about it. Disclaimer is, I do not recommend using this as a method towards cheat days. Cheat days are not healthy for numerous reasons, but mainly psychologically, they are not good for you. Cheat days set you up so that if you're like, okay, I have 2,000 calories a day, 14,000 calories a week, what if I eat 1,200 calories 6 days a week? That's only 7,200 calories. So subtract that, 14,000. That gives you 6,000 calories to eat in one day. 6,800 calories to eat in one day. That's not healthy. You're not going to get there at a healthy way. You're going to be eating a lot of junk food. You're going to be loading your body with a lot of sugar and a lot of salt and a lot of fat. And that's not good for your body to get all of that in one day. It's going to mess up. Your blood pressure is going to go up just in that one day. You're going to increase your risk of strokes, heart attacks, increase your risk of chronic illnesses. Trust me, I did this for years. I had a cheat day where I ate probably around 6,000 calories on my cheat days and then ate super healthy the rest of the week. And I'm not saying this caused my Crohn's disease, but it may have played a factor. So please do not think that cheat days are a good way to do this. And then on those days where you're at 1,200 calories, if you eat 6,800 calories one day and the next day you have to eat 1,200, your stomach's stretched out. You're going to feel hungrier on that 1,200 calorie day. It's going to be harder to stick to a significant calorie deficit the day after eating a cheat meal or a cheat day. And also with this, so you're going to feel restricted. The first few days might be okay because you're feeling full or your body's processing. Maybe you don't feel hungry. Maybe you're the opposite of your stomach feeling stretched out, but you're just full and it takes a long time for your body to process. Thursday after that cheat day that happens on the weekend, you may start to feel frustrated, or somebody brings in cupcakes into the office and you can't have them because you can only have 1,200 calories because you had a cheat day earlier in the week. So now you're missing out on something. That's going to lead to that restrict binge cycle. And then if at some point you get really high emotions on Wednesday, you're super stressed and you want pizza for dinner, but you've eaten all of your calories last Sunday, so you can't have pizza, you're eventually going to give into those cravings and you're going to binge on pizza on a Wednesday. And then you're binging 2 days a week and your calories are all blown up. So please do not use the weekly averages for a cheat day. Okay, so calorie cycling, final recap here: determine your maintenance calories, determine your calorie deficit, determine your monthly cycle. So you're gonna do 2 or 3 weeks at a deficit, 1 to 2 weeks at a maintenance, and you're gonna do that for 3 months, and you're gonna spend a month at your maintenance calories and then reprocess the cycle. I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe if you are new, like this video, give it a thumbs up, and support my channel, and I look forward to speaking with you next time.